I don't remember the sound it made, only the silence that came right after. Anonymous, Papenburg Test Track, 2023. I'm Alderic, and the first time I saw that car vanish at full throttle, it didn't roar. It disappeared, like something the wind tried to follow but couldn't. It wasn't just fast, it was silent, but somehow louder than everything else. A calm kind of violence, wrapped in carbon and light. People thought silence meant weakness, that the future would be quiet and boring. But this wasn't silence. It was precision, with no need to shout. It started with a kid in Croatia, building from scraps, batteries, and a dream too fast for permission. Mate Rimac didn't break rules. He broke expectations. One day, his creation rewrote the numbers. The next, he was leading Bugatti. The car he built? It's called Nevera, an all-electric hypercar with 4 independent motors, one for each wheel, no gears, no engine roar, just instant force, like thought, turned into motion, built not to impress, but to rewrite the laws of speed, a storm with no thunder. So now I wonder, when silence passes you at 400 kilometers per hour, will you hear the future, or just feel it, in the stillness it leaves behind? The room was small, no team, no laboratory, just a boy, a burned-out BMW, and a dream no one else could see. In 2006, Mate Rimac blew the engine of his E30 on a drag strip in Croatia. Instead of giving up, he went home and started replacing parts with whatever he could find. Laptop batteries, a motor from a power tool, hand-soldered wires. It wasn't just about making it run. It was about proving something, that electricity could feel like defiance, and restraint could carry the weight of fury. For 6 months, he worked alone. No investors, no permission, just iterations, mistakes, and a question no one asked out loud. Years later, that same kid would stand beside a car that shattered 23 world records in one day. And still, some called it quiet, soulless, artificial. But maybe control isn't the absence of emotion. Maybe it's what remains, when the machine finally speaks for itself. The track at Papenburg was empty. 4 kilometers of silence, stretching like a dare. The car sat still. 4 motors cold, sensors idle, cameras ready. No engine to rev, no rumble to mask fear. Only data, pressure, expectation. It was May 17th, 2023. Rimac had promised something no one believed, that an electric hypercar, on street tires, with no prep, could break 23 performance records in one single day. Because building a car like this wasn't just difficult, it was nearly unthinkable. 4 independent motors, each with its own inverter. Torque adjusted 100 times per second. A 120 kilowatt-hour battery that could survive brutal acceleration without collapsing. And all of it hand-assembled in a factory in Croatia, a country with no legacy of supercars. 2 independent verification teams were present, the kind that certify Olympic timers and aerospace tests. No rehearsals, no forgiveness. The car had to perform, or it would become a myth, or a monument to failure. Mate Rimac wasn't driving, but everything was still his childhood, his code, his restraint, wired into every wheel. Each run raised the risk. The 0 to 100, the quarter mile, the 0 to 400 to 0, brakes smoking, rubber searing. Each success felt like a countdown with no brakes left. And still, there were those who said it didn't count. That speed without sound wasn't real. That something this perfect had to be fake. If this doubt still screams inside you, like a truth no one else believes, stay with us. Some stories don't end with a finish line. They said it was too perfect, too quiet, too smooth. Like performance without pain, like speed without soul. The Nevera didn't roar because it couldn't. No combustion, no explosions, just current, magnets, and code, moving faster than noise itself. It looked perfect, to almost everyone. But what if perfection was the scar? Because for Mate Rimac, the wound wasn't on the track. It was every time someone smiled, nodded and said, "That's nice, but it's not real racing." As if silence couldn't bleed. As if control didn't cost anything. As if a dream needs to scream to be believed. But inside the Nevera, something else was happening. The car wasn't performing. It was restraining itself. The RAWTV torque system, adjusting every wheel 100 times per second, wasn't there for spectacle. It was a firewall, a shield, a quiet refusal to let chaos win. Mate once said, "I never wanted to build the fastest car. I wanted to build the one they said couldn't be built." That's not ego. This is the mentality of those capable of doing what everyone else swore was impossible. So maybe this was never about volume. Maybe it was about clarity. Not to dominate the road, but to survive the disbelief. And in a world chasing chaos, he built a plan, precision, patents, algorithms, 4 motors whispering in sync, each one resisting collapse, not by chance, but by design. Some call it artificial, but maybe that's because they've never heard what real belief sounds like when it doesn't raise its voice. It should have been loud. It should have been wild. But the world's fastest day ended with a whisper. The cameras shut off. The tires cooled. The data was logged. But something didn't power down. Somewhere on the test track in Papenburg, a line still glows where the Nevera stopped, from 400 to 0. Not as a burn mark, but as a question. Not everyone believed it. Not everyone wanted to. But the car didn't need them to, because belief here wasn't noise. It was design, held breath. A childhood spent proving silence could be sharp. Mate Rimac never called it a revolution. He called it what it was, a car they said couldn't exist, and then did. Now the track is empty, the asphalt still warm, the algorithm still echoing in 4 corners of memory, and the question still lingers, like a motor you thought was off, but still hums under the hood. If something's still spinning inside you, right. Some engines keep idling, even in the dark.